Hello, everyone. Welcome again to another installment of Jim's Lunch and Learns. I got some positive feedback with the subtitles, so glad that worked for you guys. I'm going to try that again today. We have about 4 videos total that I'll be showing. The last one you really don't have any subtitles for, nor do you need them, but hopefully then it works for you guys. And again, any suggestions, let me know, critiques, things that you want to see, just keep the information coming. Today we're going to talk about dreams. I love this little comic. I don't care about your weird dreams. And then it turned into a spider and walked around, and my dad was there. And then I was in a plane, and everyone's dreams are weird. Some more than others for sure. I feel like I have just some absolutely bizarre dreams on a weekly basis, if not a nightly basis. So I thought this was a good one to talk about, suspend reality for a little bit, and kind of just get into our own head, especially while we sleep. Oop. So everybody dreams. Some people you might hear say that they don't. I have a friend that swears that he doesn't. Even if you don't remember them well or at all, on average, we dream about 4 to 5 times per night. That means you're going to spend well over 50,000 hours of your life dreaming. And there's a lot we know about dreams and even more that we don't. So I thought, why not talk about it today? There are some common dreams. Out of the thousands of dreams that we have, there are generally 6 that are the most common. So let's see how many boxes you check off for this. How many have you had? Your teeth are falling out. It can mean anything about anxieties about your appearance, how others perceive you. Teeth are used to bite, tear, and chew. Dreams about losing your teeth can stem from a sense of powerlessness, which means you may be experiencing self-confidence issues. It can also represent survival challenges and instincts. You need good teeth to eat, to attract mates, and therefore to reproduce. Dreams about teeth exercises your instincts to protect yourself and your appearance. Is there a waking life situation that is eroding your confidence? I love seeing like dream books and what the quote experts think your dreams mean. Maybe you're self-conscious about your teeth, or maybe you just dream about your teeth falling out. I don't know what the reason is, but I don't know that it's always just a simple connection to, oh, it means you're self-conscious. Maybe you are. Being naked in a public space. I have never had this dream, but maybe tonight's the night. Being naked in a dream symbolizes not being able to find yourself, uncertainty, being wrongly accused. If you are not the naked person in your dream, that's a different type of dream. Represents an inflated self or self of vulnerability. Are you pretending to be more than you are? This dream diminishes the lies you might be leading, so you're exposed. Being chased suggests you're running away from something that is causing you fear or anxiety in waking life. It indicates you have a tendency to run away or avoid a particular issue. The chaser can also represent an aspect of yourself, your own feelings, for instance, or it could indicate that you're avoiding, responsibilities, spouse, boss, you name it. You're unprepared for an exam. So even if you haven't had school for quite a while, I know myself, I'll still have dreams where I'm taking tests or I'm unprepared for a test or I'm studying for a test. Not the most exciting dream. They can be so real that we actually wake up convinced we just failed. At least 1 in every 5 people will experience an exam dream in their lives. That's pretty interesting, I think. You're falling. That happens to me quite a bit too, where I'll jolt awake because I feel like I'm falling. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Or you're flying. That's a fun one. Not many of us can fly. So there seems to be a common theme. Don't know if you noticed, but 5 of the 6 most popular dreams are anxiety-based. This may not be a coincidence. Instead, it could be a major reason why we dream. Dealing with the various anxieties we face in our dreams may prepare us for the, quote, real deal when we finally wake up. So it's a time for us to kind of figure some things out or deal with this in a safe environment where you can make mistakes or you can do things differently. And then you kind of can go through the actual real thing when you wake up. We don't even know for sure why we sleep, so it's tough to determine why we dream, but there are 3 main theories. One is the psychoanalytic theory that was proposed by Sigmund Freud. Uh, he developed the psychoanalytic theory of personality, and it may also apply to dreams. The basic idea is that dreams represent unconscious thoughts and desires through actual images and the hidden psychological meaning of the dream. Basically, if you find a dream book and it says you dream about eating an apple, it's never just as simple as, oh, you were eating an apple because you like apples. It's this represents youth or this represents lust or whatever. So there's kind of two different parts of that. There's the manifest content and the latent content. Manifest is the actual content of the dream. So I had a dream I was flying. The latent content is usually analyzed by a psychologist. So why do you dream that? You could have a severe fear of heights. You could feel out of control. You could be giving into a temptation. You could have, whatever, other hidden meanings of flight or feeling free. Maybe you just got out of a relationship. Maybe you just paid off a bill. Maybe there's just some sort of sense of freedom. Then we have information processing. Dreams help us sort out the day's events and consolidate our memories. It may help develop and preserve neural pathways. Okay? Synthesis model was first proposed by J. Allen Hobson and Robert McClary in 1977. According to this theory, circuits of the brain are activated during REM sleep. The brain interprets this activity as visual memories and tries to find meaning by using the images to create a story. Okay, I could buy that one. Other theories why we dream: psychotherapy. The dreamer can make connections between thoughts and emotions, again, like we discussed, in a safe environment, especially anxieties. Cleaning up the clutter, just like you restart your computer if it's not quite working properly, dreams might refresh your mind, preparing it for the next day. Or it could be a combination. The brain creates loose connections between thoughts and ideas and are guided by the emotions of the dreamer. It can also interpret external stimuli during sleep. So if you're typically someone that falls asleep while watching TV, or you might dream that there's a noise and it's from the birds outside, or an alarm going off, or conversations people are having, your brain is able to work that into part of the dream. So it's really fascinating how this works. Problem is, there's an issue with every single one of these theories. So for Freud's wish fulfillment, that it's a psychic safety valve expressing otherwise unacceptable feelings, that really lacks any sort of scientific support, and dreams may be interpreted in many different ways. So who is this psychologist or scientist or person to say this is what it represents when we really don't know? Information processing of dreams helping us sorting out the day's events and consolidate memories. But then why do we sometimes dream about things we have not experienced? And we might be dreaming about past events too. So that doesn't really make sense. A physiological function that regular brain stimulation from REM sleep may help develop and preserve neural pathways, but this does not explain why we experience meaningful dreams. Some dreams we have really significant impact on our day, on our life, on our mindset. So that doesn't really seem to add up. Neural activation. REM sleep triggers the neural activity that evokes random visual memories, which our sleeping brain weaves into stories. The only problem is the individual's brain is weaving the stories, which still tells us something about the dreamer. Your brain is choosing what story to weave. So it doesn't seem like it's just random. And then finally, dream content reflects dreamers' level of cognitive development, their knowledge and understanding. Dreams simulate our lives, including worst-case scenarios. But that does not propose an adaptive function of our dreams. For me, too, there are times where I dream where I say, I know exactly why I dreamt about, falling, because I just watched a movie and someone fell out of a window and I thought, oh, that would be terrible. Or I dreamt about eating an apple because I ate an apple today. So there are some really simple parallels where you can say, okay, I dreamt about this because of this. And then there are other times you have dreams that seem to come out of nowhere. I dreamt of my third grade teacher who I haven't talked about in years. Or I dreamt of, breaking my leg. And why would I do that? So there are still quite a few things that have stumped scientists, and it's tough to ask people while they're dreaming what's going on or what's happening or why they're thinking of that. So there's just still a lot we really don't know. But there is a lot that we do know, even though we don't know a ton. Recent findings, scientists have found that regions of the brain involved in dreaming and changes in brain activity offer clues to what the dream could possibly be about. So REM sleep, something you've probably heard of, it stands for rapid eye movement. During REM sleep, our brain's electroactivity mimics almost exactly when we are awake, except chemicals are blocked, preventing us from acting our dreams out. Some people do still act dreams out. That's why you might see them kick their leg or punch people or sleepwalk. Those are other disorders which we can get into later. Bottom line, the brain areas involved with long-term memory and emotion are highly active during REM sleep. Okay. Dreaming had long been thought to only occur during REM sleep, but dreams have also been reported during non-REM sleep. So then that kind of throws another wrench into things. Why are we dreaming? What's the purpose? What is going on? REM sleep occurs in cycles of 90 to 120 minutes through the night, and it accounts for up to 20 to 25% of total sleep time in adults. On the flip side, newborns spend about 80% of their sleep time in REM. So that could be an easy conclusion where it is doing something for development of the brain, because if newborns spend that much time in REM sleep, maybe that's because it's developing their brain. They need so much of it at that age. We just really don't know. They also found dreaming about faces was linked to increased high-frequency activity in the region of the brain involved in face recognition, and dreams with spatial perception, movement, and thinking were linked to those regions of the brain that handle these tasks when awake. Dreams might have a purpose after all. The team discovered that they were able to correctly predict if participants had been dreaming 87% of the time. Understanding what is causing the changes in activity in the hot zone could reveal whether dreaming has a purpose. So what areas of the brain are being targeted? What could that mean for our development, for our understanding of what's going on? Here is our first video we're going to play. It's Why Do We Dream? And these are some other theories. He just does a better job of summing it up than I could.
Hey, Vsauce, Michael here, and today we are going to talk about why we dream. What's going on inside our brains? The scientific study of dreaming is called neurology, and for most of history it didn't really exist because you can't hold a dream. It's difficult to measure a dream. You can't taste it. You can't see other people's dreams. And if you ask them to tell you what they dream, the results are almost always unreliable. In fact, it's estimated that we forget 95% of the dreams we have, especially within the first few minutes of having them. But then, in 1942, something amazing happened. Researchers at the University of Chicago found this. It's a unique type of electrical activity that occurs during a certain stage of a person's sleep. When researchers are working during this stage, they almost always report that they have been dreaming. Also, at the same time, during this stage, people's eyeballs are really crazy, rapidly darting all over the place underneath their eyelids, and it's just happening if you watch people sleep. Unusually, during REM sleep, some pretty bizarre stuff happens. If you look at the electrical activity of the brain just in REM sleep, it almost exactly mimics the way the brain acts in sleep. The biggest difference being the production of chemicals inside the brain, like norepinephrine, serotonin, and this chemical is supposed to be blocked, and that causes the muscles to stop moving, which is why you can dream about flying, running around, or fighting ninjas, but your body constantly moving. People who have a disorder of dreaming think that means going move around in their sleep and act out their dreams. They can even get out of bed and sleep.
Yikes. Not sleeping next to that guy.
It's possible to wake up and not be fine because you're still in REM utopia. You're completely conscious. You know that you're awake, but your body's not moving on the inside. You can also be inside a dream. You never know that you're in a dream. Most of our bodies are always sleep. It's particularly attractive because more like you're lucid dreaming, like you make conscious decisions about what I do. I can go fly and run right now, right? I can keep running the other way. I'm in control. But true lucid dreaming is part of the lucid complex schizophrenic is a good description of research using psychoanalytic. Researchers were able to deprive mice of medicine cognitive insight and learning insight into water, where there was clean analysis of the Early humans especially, we had no idea what kind of threats we might encounter during the day. And so, to prepare us, our brain would simulate anxieties while we slept to make us better prepared for that feeling in the real world. So people who had terrifying dreams were better at dealing with anxiety in the real world and had stronger genes. All right, so the theories we discussed today are quite popular, but they don't really enjoy a consensus. Not everyone agrees on them, and they barely scratch the surface of scientific thought about dreams. That's kind of the cool thing about dreams. And think of it like this. Here is the Eagle Nebula, a giant structured outer space 6,500 light years away. But despite its distance, we pretty much know what it's made of. We know that it's 100 trillion kilometers tall. We know what caused it, and we know where it's going to be in 750 million years. But last night, I had dreams, and no one really knows why or for what reason. And that's really cool, and that's why. Thanks for watching.
So I love that comment he makes at the end that all the things that we do know, all the incredible achievements we've made, especially with space, and we still don't know something as simple that every single person does. So that's pretty wild. The other thing that really blows my mind is that we only dream of faces that we have seen in real life. And so now that I know this, every time I have a dream and there's a random person I'm talking to, or someone chasing me, or I see someone have something terrible happen to them, or they're trying to do something terrible to me, that's someone that I've seen maybe at the grocery store. Maybe I saw them weeks ago and didn't realize it. It's just all faces that are subconsciously in your brain. It could be from a commercial, a movie, a TV show, you name it. So that part really blew my mind. Can dreaming help you learn and problem solve? Kind of like the video suggests that, us learning to work through anxieties or solving things a bit. Well, MIT researchers think so. They have developed a device called Dormio to be used during hypnagogia, which is the awareness of the brief period between wakefulness and sleep, kind of that, like some people call it, half asleep state. Their hypothesis is that this period between wakefulness and sleep is an opportunity for creativity that's usually lost. The idea is, if you're able to descend into that stage of sleep and then return to consciousness without going deeper into sleep, you're going to benefit from the intense creative thinking and mental clarity that occur in microdreams between transitioning sleep. Test subjects were able to maximize the amount of time spent, quote, half asleep, as well as shape the content of the microdreams they experienced. Thomas Edison, Edgar Allan Poe, Albert Einstein, and Salvador Dali, among others, all expressed their fascination with hypnagogia and claimed their experiences in this sleep state resulted in sudden bursts of creativity. Which, no surprise there. If you're not restricted by the boundaries of reality, if you can just kind of go off the wall and think about random things, then you're not burdened by what actually can or cannot happen. And so I think that allows us to be a little bit more creative or think differently or approach problems with different solutions that we normally wouldn't think of if we were awake. And there have been a significant amount of ideas that were formed in dreams. The idea for Google, Larry Page had that idea in a dream. Songs, no surprise. Paul McCartney coming up with Yesterday. Many people know that that tune was in a dream. He even thought that he had stolen it from someone, and after a while found out, no, that was just a tune that I heard. Keith Richards with Satisfaction. Books, Robert Louis Stevenson, Jekyll and Hyde, Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, both came from dreams. The theory of the chemical structure, DNA's double helix, periodic table, and even the sewing machine were all ideas that came in dreams. Some people have recurring dreams. Some people have them when they're younger, they're older, or it goes throughout their whole life. Usually experts say that it means that there's something in your life that you haven't acknowledged that's causing stress of some sort. The dream repeats because you have not corrected the problem. When I was little, I had a dream that there was a witch that was coming to get me and would stir me in her giant cauldron, and I would fall through it into my bed. And if I laid still, then she'd go away. Otherwise, it would just keep happening over and over and over again. I'm not aware of any witch that was trying to get me at the time. I don't know what stress I had. So maybe there's something to it where, there was an anxiety that I wasn't coming to terms with. I don't know. I guess I solved it because I haven't had that dream in quite a few years. So good for me. And then lucid dreaming or conscious dreaming is the ability to control your dream. We're going to watch a video on that as well.
Dreams provide a world in which we escape from reality into the mind and seemingly have little control over what happens. But what if you didn't know you were dreaming and subsequently control the dream? It turns out lucid dreaming is entirely possible, and with a little effort and practice, even you can do it. Now, some of you might be saying, I don't even dream. But the truth is, everybody has about 3 to 7 dreams a night. The problem is, we quickly forget them. The first strategy towards lucid dreaming is keeping a dream journal. Keeping a journal improves your ability to recall dreams and helps to study lucidity. So every time you wake up, write down what you can remember, even if it's nothing, just as a form of habit. The next step is performing reality checks. In a dream, something as simple as reading a sentence, counting your fingers, or checking the time can often go astray. Try it now. Look at the time, look away, and then look back. Assuming you are currently dreaming, the time probably stays the same. However, in a dream, the time and the words you are reading will often completely change. The key is to do these reality checks often when you're awake. This way you become second nature, and when you're dreaming, you're likely to perform the same test and realize that something's wrong. After this comes a technique
So I think there's some really interesting points that are raised there. One is your brain playing tricks on you and you're paralyzed. That sounds absolutely terrifying. But being able to control your dreams, that's pretty neat. I've never been able to do that. I have had a few times where I knew that I was dreaming, and so I kind of just embraced what was happening, and I wasn't afraid because I knew it wasn't real. But I've never taken that extra step where I could actually control what was going on. If you can do it, good for you. Then, of course, there are kind of the weirder things. So one of the points that they made in the end of that last video are, how do we know what completely awake is or completely sleeping is? Is it part of one continuum? Some people have had premonition dreams. So Lincoln dreamt of his own assassination before it happened. Mark Twain dreamt of his brother's death. And there are 19 verified dreams about the Titanic sinking, where people thought the Titanic was going to sink before it happened. Now, you could say, especially with the Titanic sinking, well, it was an unsinkable ship that people thought, and it's a boat. So maybe some people just dreamt about it sinking like anyone else would. The only reason why people care is because it actually did sink. If it never did, no one would care that 19 people dreamt about it. But who knows? That's still odd. We do tend to forget as much as 90 to 95% of our dreams shortly after waking, which again, probably a good thing. If you remembered all of your dreams and you remembered a lot of what happened during your day, that's a lot of information to remember. And you might have a difficult time trying to keep track of what was a dream and what was reality. You might tell someone, oh no, you told me this, when really that was a dream. So it is probably a good thing that we forget about it, especially if they are the terrifying variety. So I mentioned earlier that there were some sleep disorders that people have. Insomnia, obviously not being able to sleep. Sleep apnea is really common now too, and that can allow people to not go into REM sleep or even a state of sleep where they would be dreaming. So if there are people that say they don't dream and they have sleep apnea, that might actually be true. Restless leg syndrome, where all of a sudden your leg kicks, it could be, again, those chemicals that are being blocked in your brain so that you can't act out your dreams. Some people do have that disorder where those chemicals aren't always blocked. So sometimes they do act out their dreams, like that one guy did in the video, which was pretty scary. You have REM sleep behavior disorder, narcolepsy, sleepwalking, sleep terrors, and then teeth grinding. I don't really consider that a sleep disorder, but it's on the list. So there you have it. Lee Hadwin is an artist who only draws in his sleep. Sounds pretty unbelievable, but believe it. Here it is.
Even the most talented artists need to be awake while envisioning their next masterpiece.
Not so for a Welsh Australian artist named Lee Hadwin, who creates portraits and landscapes, all while sleeping. He had been drawing unconsciously since the age of 4. While he was in his teens and throughout his 20s, he would wake up to find tables, walls, and even clothes drawn. Today, sketch pens are strewn around his home, just waiting for the sleeping artist to get to work. He has a 3-piece collection of Marilyn Monroe portraits. The striking images depict her facial features and hair in great detail. Another work appears to be an abstract painting of varying round shapes created by circular strokes in colors of orange, red, and purple. Hadwin states, "People ask me all the time what it is like, but I can't really answer that because I don't feel it's my work, as I don't recall doing it in the first place. You should see my reports from school. I was appalling at art and couldn't draw at all."
So that to me is pretty crazy. And yes, of course, you have people that say, there's no way that that can be real. He probably can draw fine and while he's awake. Well, apparently he can't. And even if he could, if he was still able to draw in his sleep, let's say he was a great artist while he was awake, it's still pretty incredible that, some people sleepwalk, he sleep draws. But I think it's even more incredible that he doesn't have that talent while he's awake. Then if you want to remember your dreams, we did this in high school in a psychology class. Tell yourself you're going to remember your dreams. You can break up your sleep pattern if you want. We tend to sleep in 90-minute cycles, so you can wake up after 90 minutes if you want. Most people don't want to disrupt their sleep. Sleep is very precious to a lot of people. I wouldn't recommend not getting sleep or waking yourself up unnecessarily. So maybe just use a notebook, keep a pencil or pen handy by your better nightstand. Um, some people too, especially myself, I feel like if I tell someone my dream when I wake up, I can remember it so much better because I'm visualizing it, I'm replaying it. If I don't think about it again, it's gone. I can't remember it at all. When we kept our dream journal in high school, I wrote dreams down and then looked at it a few weeks later, and the majority of them, I could not remember any part of it. I'm reading the dreams, laughing, saying, "This is bizarre. I can't remember any of this." So it is pretty crazy what you can remember if you write it down immediately as soon as you wake up. And then don't try to analyze anything, just report the facts. So telling a story of what happened, don't try and figure out why you dreamt that way or what you felt, just this is the story. Then we might even be able to record our dreams. This was a video I initially played, but instead I'm going to go to the actual images. So we are getting closer. Above is an image that is reconstructed from brain activity recorded during a dream in 2018. And there's a YouTube video that shows all these dreams. So basically the image on the left is what scientists showed a person, and then they dreamt about that image, and so then they were connected to computers, and scientists could try and guess based on their brain activity what the image was in their dream. And so on the right is the image that they came up with. And so you'll see in this video that some of them are pretty close, some aren't very close, but it's pretty fascinating to see how close we're getting of an actual image that was shown in the dream, and then an image that scientists were able to get just using computers and brain activity. So that image on the right is what they were able to reproduce. So that, okay, you can definitely see some sort of plus sign. This almost looks like a face, but okay, I can see kind of an X there. So I'm not going to go through all of these, but we're getting closer and closer to being able to kind of record dreams. It's not exactly high definition, but it's a step. So who knows, maybe 20, 30 years from now, it'll be even more accurate. And then what does it all mean? As you can see, there are many theories and suggestions. Today, what scientists think, there's no consensus, and there's so many suggestions online and at the library. There are books and books and books of interpretations of of dreams, what they could mean, what you should do. If you're interested in that sort of thing, it's definitely a topic you can spend a lot of time on. For me, dreams are bizarre and they're wonderful and they're horrible and they're everything in between. You can wake up and have extreme emotions due to a dream. Sometimes you might be upset at someone just because of something that you had in a dream, but you can also have positive feelings with it too. You might forgive people. You might realize some things that are important and some things that aren't. So dreams do speak to people. My recommendation, why not experiment or enjoy them the best you can, because why not? It happens every night, especially now. If you can find enjoyment in something as simple as a dream, I say go for it. So hopefully you learned something today. Thanks for tuning in. Again, if you have any suggestions, comments, recommendations, requests, you name it, just send it my way. See you in a week. Take care.